Let me welcome you, my dear students. My name is Saima and I am teaching you the subject Discourse Studies. In this lecture, that is our very first lecture, in which we are going to discuss about history of discourse, definition of discourse and approaches of language. If we talk about the history of discourse, we can simply say that the etymology of discourse stem from the Latin word discursus, which means a running about or a conversation. If you talk about any kind of conversation, that is called discourse. It evolved from the Latin verb discurre, in which we can simply say that the meaning of this discurre is to run about, to run to or from. So, in which dis is to run, curre mean away. So we can say that it is a process of to run back or forth, or the process of repetition of any kind of argument. So this is discourse. This root connects to the term to the idea of flowing, moving ideas or thoughts, and ultimately to the concept of speech or conversation. So this is all about the etymology of discourse. Now we are going to discuss the definition of discourse. If we talk about that, means what is the definition of discourse? So it is discourse is said to be the language in action in society. If we are saying something or we are in conversation in any kind of society that acts in a society, so this is called discourse. So we can say that to run back or forth, or the process of repetition or the repetitive argument, is called discourse. But we can also say that a process of running back and forth while holding or giving argumentation while disagree with someone. It is also called that a small piece of information in speech or writing is called discourse. It means if you read any kind of sentence in any from any page or from newspaper or any book, that is called discourse. So discourse is also said that, or we can say that discourse can be defined as the stretch of language. Stretch means the use of language beyond the level of sentence. Means if you read any kind of sentence and you are going to discuss that thing, or you are stretching that language, that is called discourse. In simple word, we can say any meaningful or meaningless words or gesture is called discourse. Do you really think what is basically the discourse? Means discourse, if you talk about the history of discourse, means discourse has long history, as old as we human beings are. Why? Because Adam was the first linguist. He learned 7,777 languages. He was capable of speaking these languages. So what do you think? Means it is the Adam who basically used the discourse. Now I am going to discuss about the history, or we can say that language has history of its own. So set of arbitrary signs, symbols, words, gesture, posture, colors, etc. are discourse. Even silence is more powerful language. How do you think? If you are silent, it means you are speaking something. We are more speaking when we are not speaking. If someone says something to you and you are disagree with that, so you will be simply silent. It means it is very powerful language that shows that you are disagreeing with that argument. Even if we talk about that, if you use any kind of perfume, that is called discourse. Means perfume has its smell that tells about the things what you are thinking about and what do you want to. So this is discourse. So if we talk about the approaches of language, it's simple. Means there are two approaches toward language, that is descriptive approach and prescriptive approach. If we talk about the descriptive approach, which studies language as subjective and relative phenomena and does give room of a departure from the set of defined rules therein. And if we talk about prescriptive, which studies language as it is, just like a prescriptive written by the doctor, which is to be followed without questioning. You are not able to question anything. So prescriptive approach therefore focus on the rule of the language. You are not going to ask anything. Descriptively speaking, language is a set of arbitrary signs, symbols, sound, gesture, etc. The term arbitrary suggests that the language is not a fixed phenomena. It is not mathematically like 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Language is rather random and varies from culture to culture and society to society. So let me tell you about that prescriptive approach in language. It derives from the prescription. It was learned as wholly prescriptive, like church was more dominant in the history. Language of the ruling class is ruling language. So ideology travels from top to bottom. If we talk about the popular notion that don't question in the religion, no one question about religion in the clergy. So prescriptive in the Middle Age, we can say that how language should be like. This is distortion of religion text. No challenge in religion. According to traditional grammar, the largest stretch of language was sentence. And if we talk about the change is the law of nature, then after finishing church power, discourse moves from prescriptive approach to the descriptive approach. So language is the product of the age of it belonged to. If you talk about the Renaissance, means that is the if we talk about the Renaissance means the revival or the rebirth. So theocentric that belongs to the theology. That approach is now moves to the homocentric approach. Theology means religion was above all. If we talk about the homocentric, that means human is the above all. It is an attempt to revise the traditional bent of mind is discourse. So previously discourse was taken as noun, but now it is taken as verb. It is a shift from noun to the verb. If we talk about the descriptive approach, how language actually works in a society. Descriptive approach, how language should be like. So there is no finality in language. Everything is social construction in language. One word as a one sentence, even a single word or gesture is discourse, whether it is meaningful or meaningless. No use of language is ideology free. Whatever we do, it is meaningful. Writing is superior than speech that was taken in the past. Now we are going to discuss here. Means traditionally writing was considered superior as compared to the speech. In modern times, speech is considered to be superior from writing because there are more persons who can discourse in speech and cannot discourse in writing. It's quite simple. If we talk about people, I mean, there are very little people who can write because they are not literate, but they can speak. So that is discourse. Language is product of the age it belongs to. The dominant tendencies of the age are reflected in and through language. So language of the ruling class is the ruling language. The ideology of the ruling class is the ruling ideology because ideologies travel from the top to the bottom. We can simply say that the language is living being. It is an action and it brings users in action. It is driving force. We think in language and behave in language. It is a means of creating and perpetuating. So if we talk about the color red is sign of danger. Semiotically, or the semiotics are culturally oriented and they carry plethora or the bundle of interpretation. If we talk about that red color, means if red color is used in any kind of, we can simply say that in any ceremony, that especially in Pakistan, so it is the sign of happiness. If we talk about red color in a road, it means it is a sign of danger. I am going to discuss here another thing, that is I am a human as I doubt. This is used by the Russell, that set in your middle presence at high rate. Don't believe easily. Why? Even a smile, detected message or perfume is discourse. If we talk about the semiotics discourses, that semiotics derive from the semiology. If we talk about the science that studies life of sign in the society, so science have life like language. For example, it has start, it goes to the top, then it decline, means it also has decline stage. Now I am going to discuss about the sign and gesture, because I am going to discuss here sign and gesture too. Everybody can gesture, but few can sign. If there is a correlation between verbal and non-verbal communication, it is sign. And if we talk about if there is no correlation between verbal and non-verbal communication, it is a gesture. So simply is that discourse is a small piece of information in speech or writing. So dear student, this is all about our lecture, in which we have discussed the history of discourse, then we have discussed the definition of discourse, and in the last we have discussed approaches of languages. This is all about the lecture. Thank you so much.